Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome to my hobby blog. Today we are doing, I don't know why in my brain I was going to say this was episode however many of Withering Watchpile, because I haven't been keeping track at all. But this is the next episode of the Withering Watchpile, where we choose a theme, choose movies that we mostly haven't seen yet, and kind of pitch it or, I guess, talk shit on it. I don't know. But joining me today again is Cult Flicks Fix 24. Welcome back.
Thank you, Christian. It's always a pleasure to be on here, and I'm pretty excited for this topic because I'm a big fan of zombie films since I was young, and started with the Romero trilogy all the way up, and Dead, not trilogy, but Dead films, I should say, because there's more than three now. But yeah, this one, like since I was a kid, like I said, I used to watch these sleazy zombie films to the cheese to, I mean, the serious ones. It goes all around, but yeah, ready to dive into these, man. Excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I you chose it, so I'll let you go first. But the zombie genre has been
Okay.
huge. I remember it exploding when the first season of The Walking Dead came out. I remember before then it was really just a zombie survival guide. Is what was the last kind of popular pop culture zombie thing, and before that, it was probably Dawn of the Dead. There weren't many zombie movies afterwards until The Walking Dead, and The Walking Dead kind of brought it back, and we have such amazing movies as the Wreck series from I think Spain is the found footage series. Those are movies that are awesome. I haven't seen them in forever. Train to Busan is amazing, one of my favorites, and it mixes with the amazing style of the South Korean like thriller genre. And I'm trying to think any other recent ones. I've heard The Sadness is really good, but I could not
Yeah.
catch it this time because I wanted to get through my physical watch pile rather than my in my brain. But I'll let you go first, unless you have anything else
Uh,
to say. But
no, I'll get started there. I just wanted to say that, like with the zombie, it's interesting because it started with voodoo type of voodoo. Like you'd have voodoo, whatever it is that brought him back from the grave, and then it just grew from to eating flesh and brains and beyond that, and talking, and then you had your slow walking zombies to your fast running ones, and it just evolved. It's evolved so much. I'm like, still keeps me entertained. I see a zombie film and I want to watch it, good or bad. But
yeah, there's a few that I cannot even deal with that I know you're a fan of, like Burial Ground. I think is
oh
still one of the most boring, outside of the incest stuff. Everything else is just so like dreary to me. There's just something about that movie. Andrea Bianchi is a director that I somehow have become familiar with because she has done so many movies, but like that movie is just Night of the Living Dead. It all goes back to Night of the Living Dead. And before Night of the Living Dead, it was Voodoo's, and from Haiti, most of it, because it was really cheap
yeah,
to film there. And there's a really famous one that I have seen. I think it's called like I Walked with the Zombie or White Zombie, which,
oh
if you're
yeah,
a Rob Zombie fan, a lot of his music is horror movie kind of centric. And White Zombie, I mean, his band was called White Zombie, and
oh
I'm
yeah,
sure he was a big fan of that movie. But that one was very. Those movies were very kind of racist. They are. They're not kind of, but they are. And I think
hmm,
it's White Zombie. It's all these different Haitian corpses come back to life through voodoo, and they're like stalking white women all over the island, and they're not very sensitive in terms of the portrayal. But it's like from the
yeah,
60s and maybe even the 50s. But I think Romero was very just kind of like, okay, we're gonna move on. And I don't even. I'm sure at one point I knew where he got the idea from that it was eating brains, because It was, I think, Return of the Living Dead was when the word brains got paired up with zombies because of the zombie on the table going brains.
Yeah.
But like, it was never connected that way, like pop culturally. So it's pretty interesting, the entire genre. There's so many like fun details.
Yeah. It could go like straight serious, or you got your comedy.
One
It
Cut of the
it
Dead,
depends.
one of my favorite movies.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh my gosh, it's a found footage documentary series where the first 40 minutes is a one take shot on video movie, and then it turns into a whole separate movie afterwards. And it's awesome.
Oh wow.
Don't look up anything about it, don't watch the trailer, nothing. I think it's on Shudder. If not, you can get
I
it
was just gonna
from
ask you, is
Second
it on
Sight.
Shutter?
It should be. That's how I saw it way back when. Well, not way back, but it was on Amazon Prime and Shudder. Sometimes they have
Okay.
those dual rights. But One Cut of the Dead's awesome.
I'll, I'll look out for that one.
It's
All right,
running
shall I
zombies
start?
too. Yeah. Yeah, go
Shall I
ahead.
start with the first film? All right, I'm gonna go into some late '80s cheese here, and this is an Arrow edition called Hellgate,
Oh wow. Never even heard of
and
that.
I got this on the sale, the Arrow sale. But yeah, this one is it's the mix between zombie and paranormal. So I had a hard time
One of my
reading this
movies the
film.
same way.
Yeah, but it during the middle of the film, she does yell out like, "Get away from me, you zombie!" So I'm like, they called it a zombie like several times throughout this film.
I have
But
proof.
proof. But this is very cheesy, and it hasn't got a good reviews on this one. I mean, on IMDb was a 3.8 out of 10.
Oh, most
So
cult films are. So
yeah,
I
but
wouldn't worry
I
too
en-
much.
I didn't I enjoyed this a lot more. This is basically about a biker gang, and they pretty much kidnap this girl from a kind of a diner. They take her to this town called Hellgate. They pretty much brutally kill her there, and then the father kills one of the bikers, and
Ooh.
it sets off like a kind of like a history there. This is taking place in the 50s. It has a real nice 50s setting during that time. And anyway, she comes back for vengeance. So this is where it's like paranormal because she's like a ghost walking through. But then when she's in the town, she's like a full zombie, like rotted and walking, real undead like. So it's a mixture. But yeah, and we get these teens that have this real bad dialogue, man. It's so bad. It's just throughout the
That's where the
film, like,
3 out of 10 came from, was the dialogue.
yeah, that's where I could get it out of that. But you got what's his name? Ron Palillo in this film, and he's the big actor. He came back on Welcome Back, Kotter with John Travolta in the '70s. That show, but he's the comedic relief, and he does have some funny moments. But then some are kind of like roll your eyes back kind of comedy. uh, yeah. Anyways, the town Hellgate. We fast forward to the '80s now. We got
Ooh.
these four kind of teens, supposedly teens, even though they look older, of course. But they go to this town called Hellgate, which is now haunted by this girl, and and pretty much all hell breaks loose. You got like cars driving by themselves. You got spirits appearing and disappearing. You got the whole undead coming out of graves, walking towards the town, and you got cool effects. You got some head decapitations that were real nice. You see the head just rolling and it's cut off, and then you got like a kind of dreamlike situation. Stuff appears. They walk into like a certain kind of like entertainment, like a bar and theater type of place, and you have like these groups just appear and they're dancing. So that's where the ghost part is. But then you have like pretty much a demented kind of person running the town, and he's bringing these ones back to life. He's controlling them through like this crystal. It's like a blue crystal, and it lights up, and it'll bring them back to life. Anything that's dead. You got a fish in a fish tank that blows up, and it's mutated, and it's coming out of the fish tank. I don't know why.
Oh my god.
So it's real bizarre, like weird, real
Sounded
B
like Mad
movie-ish.
Libs for a second. You were just saying stuff, and my brain was like, what?
Yeah,
This
I
fish,
was
and it's
I was
underwater.
I was watching. It's like, where did that come? It's just random, real random, and you got a guy get hit with a stone and his whole body's exploding and melting down. Real
Shut.
cool effects. Yeah, it's and this is one of those that was in the VHS stores back in the day. There's a not this cover, but I mean, see if I have that cover. No, what's a cover of a skull, like a evil melted skull? It's not on this one, but it was real popular in the VHS
Oh, yeah.
days. And
I'm
what the
looking at the
director was saying,
letterbox, and it's this one.
that's the one that's on here. I don't know if I could find that image, but it has a. It was real popular. They know it by that cover. A lot of people, but the director is saying there's not even none of that appears in the film. They don't even know why that was on the cover. So it looks makes it look a lot better than it actually is.
Kind of like on the Evil Dead covers, the hand coming out, but it's like nowhere in
Yeah,
the movie. It just looks awesome. Like,
yeah, awesome. Like, and then this was very low budget. I mean, the director said he made it on a few $1,000s,
hmm.
and he filmed this film in South Africa,
Oh.
and the whole film looks American. It's crazy. He made it look like American made, and he said that he wanted to make it look that way, and it was finally released in 2016. It hadn't had a Blu-ray release since then,
Hmm.
so it was kind of a hard to find film for a long time. And I guess the director said he was supposed to have the Superman effect people from the original Superman movie
Oh.
work on this, but since he was filming it in South Africa, they didn't want to travel that far, so they sent their assistants. So
Oh
I guess
no,
their
the
assistants worked
interns.
on it. Yeah, the interns or whatever. So he said it took a little fall. He was a little pissed off with that. He had to add his own take because he wasn't approving of all the effects. But I thought the effects were the solid part of this film. Actually, I mean the film's not a good film in any way, but but it's entertaining. What shall I say? But yeah, it's I don't know. I enjoyed it, and it has a good like B movie setting. You could tell the setting's real B movie ish. The town, it looks kind of cardboard ish, if I could see on the walls and stuff like that. But overall, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 for
Hmm.
Hellgate from 1989. And yeah, it gets bashed a lot, and I don't think it's that bad. But
Yeah, I saw in Letterboxd it was either like 5 stars or it was like 2.5, which is like, eh.
yeah, it's the dialogue's pretty bad in the acting. I think that's where it takes a fall. But
See, I don't even notice that anymore unless it's really
yeah,
bad. Like one of the movies I watched tonight was just awful on the acting, like really awful, like to the point where I noticed it, which never happens. But
yeah, there's like a joke the guy tells on here, and he's like to his best friend, like they're friends. He's like, "You're really an asshole, right? You're an asshole." And the guy's like, "Yeah, no, really, you're an asshole." He keeps going off and on, and the guy's like, "Okay, you called me an asshole already. Really? Yeah, no, you're an asshole." And he laughs again. I'm like, he's just repeating himself, and I guess it's supposed to be a joke, but it's it's just stuff like
sounds
that where
like
I
a
said,
eight
man,
buddies cop movie.
yeah. And then he tells this joke 3 times through the movie, the same fucking joke. So I thought that was cringeworthy, but what do you expect from an '80s film? You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be award winning shit, you know. But no, I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't have a complaint besides that acting a little bit, but yeah, that's
All
all I
right.
got there for Hellgate, man.
Awesome. I've never heard of the movie, so it's nice that there's still movies out there that people know about and are reviewing, and I don't know it. It's always the fun is the discovery.
I'd never heard of it till I watched it now, honestly. And
Just
then I started
appeared on
reading about
your shelf one day.
it on my shelf. I was like, I haven't seen that. It's from the '80s. Let me watch it.
Necronomic? What?
Yeah,
Curses your entire house.
bloodthirsty virgins at midnight. What? I haven't seen this one.
Is this a Jess Franco movie?
Yeah.
Well, I can go into my first one, which the more I think about it, the more I love it even more. And this is for all of them except for the last one, which is, of course, my number one, and I love that instantly. But This one is one from Mexico from 1986, 5, directed by Ruben Galinda Jr. And this is the movie Cementerio del Terror,
Oh, nice.
Cemetery of Terror. This is a movie I've heard about forever, probably since I started collecting movies. And I remember the slipcover, and I remember really wanting it, but I was a student, so I couldn't buy it. But I'm trying to get the original art out. I love the original art a lot, uh, uh,
Yeah.
but I love the more like theatrical looking one. The zombie is right there, so I had no issues realizing this was a zombie movie. But this is from my unshown, unrevealed giant stack of Vinegar Syndrome movies. All three of these movies are. And so I had no idea this was a zombie movie. I thought it was a ghost movie, which it kind of is. I joked on Letterboxd that this was what Spookies wished it was, because this movie is basically a haunted house movie where you have all like a creature feature, like just everything, every type of creature come out, and they have a one little scene. But zombies are kind of like the connecting tissue, pun intended, throughout the entire movie, and it is really hard to even find complaints about it. But I had no kind of reaction after watching it. I should go back into Letterbox and put it back up to 4. But what the movie is about, I'll just read off the end or the box. It's Halloween night, and a group of bored teenagers decide to pull a ghastly prank as a means of getting lucky, stealing a corpse from the local morgue and taking it to a nearby cemetery where they perform a satanic ritual in an attempt to bring it back to life. Unfortunately, they happen to choose the body of a savage serial killer who has just been shot dead by police, ending a recent spate of satanically influenced murders. Unwittingly reviving the bloodthirsty sadist to the realm of the undead, the group of fun-seeking youngsters risk becoming dinner for the devil-worshipping zombie, with only occult expert Dr. Cardin, played by a supposedly legendary Mexican character actor Hugo Stiglitz, able to try and put an end to the madness. But this movie is awesome. The more I think about it, the more I appreciate it. And it's from Mexico, which there aren't really any movies from Mexico in Vinegar Syndrome's line, unless it's by the same director. They have put out
Yeah.
Grave Robbers and Don't Panic, which Don't Panic I thought I bought from the sale. And I was desperately looking for that after watching this because I wanted to watch Don't Panic, and I didn't have it. I was very sad. But
Yeah.
this one's a lot of fun. They say it's has the same feel as a Lucio Fulci movie and the ludicrous plotting of a Bruno Mattei epic, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Because this movie, I had no idea what was going on through most of it. Scenes
Yeah.
were just happening and blood was going everywhere. And kids kept showing up and being like, hey, I'm part of the plot now. And then they would like get brutally murdered. And I'd be like, yay! Like, that never happens. So, yeah, I really don't have much to say. I know I spent maybe 3 minutes on that, but
It was a quick review. I have that one. I've seen it. I personally love it. Like, Don't Panic's good too. You got to see that one.
yeah, I
But
thought I bought it, but I was looking through my stack because I have like 40 something movies I got during the halfway to Black Friday sale. And I was like, I swear I had it. Like, it was in my cart at one point. I think I took that off and put this one on because everyone knows Don't Panic, but I don't think anybody talks about Cemetery of Terror. So,
I think that's the best one, Cemetery of Terror.
hmm.
That's
Don't
my
Panic
favorite.
is like the big famous one.
Yeah, it stands out more. They even had, I think pajamas were those are the ones they had pajamas for. They were
Yep.
selling. Yeah,
That's how I know it is the pajamas.
yeah. That Cemetery of Terror is the best one in my opinion. But
Well, cool.
Awesome film. I really enjoy that one too.
There is a commentary track. No, there's two commentary tracks. Oh my god. One with the director, which I'm shocked about. Huh.
Wow,
Wow. Cool. If only I watched
that's
that.
a fun one. I gotta check out the extras. I never seen them on that
So yeah, that's my first movie. So,
first one.
I don't have
Wow,
many thoughts. Okay, we went on for 5 minutes for that. Okay, so it's not too long or too
that
short.
that, that would have been my probably last one. I like it that much.
Oh yeah,
So I'm more interested in your lineup now. Whatever you got
it's a
there.
very interesting one that I had no idea zombies were even involved in any of them. So
Wow. So you want me to go on to my second one here? Okay. I'm gonna go with a French zombie film, and I just watched this one right now, so
oh
it's
my
fresh in my
gosh.
mind. It's Grapes of Death, and it's a
Oh, never even heard of
John
that.
John Rollins film, and this one's a zombie film. This is the one I was telling you. It's kind of like infectious film as well, because I mean they're drinking wine, and that's where the virus gets through is through this wine,
Ooh,
and it infects them. They're wearing masks like we are at today's now with this pandemic, so it's real sense close
timely.
to home. Yeah, timely, shall I say? But yeah, it starts with this guy, and he's just like working the hard labor. He's on a tractor, and he's telling his boss, I'm not feeling good. There's something wrong with me." And he's all, "Don't worry, next week we'll get masks that'll be airtight. So just go back to work." He tells him or something like that. So he's like, "All right." He's all, "I'm getting fever. My cheeks hurting and everything." So they ignore him completely.
I lost my
He
taste.
get Yeah, okay, get back to work. The boss tells him. So he gets to this train where we meet up with these two girls. One's going to meet her boyfriend to live with him or whatever, and she's on a train. She's excited. They're going back and forth, but it has that train's going. This guy aboards the train, the one that's infected, of course, and he starts to rot. His face starts to melt. They have like melting. It looks like kind of waxy, and half their face just. It's like it reminds me of like Italian horror. You're watching those lower budget zombie Italian films like that. Bruno Mattei kind of stuff, Zombie 3. But anyways, they his face starts to rot, so this girl panics. She runs there and witnesses that her best friend has just been killed by this guy. She's dead in the bathroom, and she just hits the emergency brake, jumps out of the train, and she goes to this countryside that's real creepy. I mean, this is what I like about these films is they catch you with the setting and the camera, the landscape, pretty much. And there's a bridge with like fog, and she's
Ooh.
just running through it, and you can't see nothing. You just hear noises of like people moaning, like the zombie, and you're like right away that attracted me to the film. So then you got as she gets to this countryside, she gets to this couple's house. They're real strange. They're not communicating with her. They're just at a dinner table staring at her. So she's like, "I need to call the cops. This guy just killed my friend, whatever." They won't say nothing. They give her wine, so she starts drinking wine. And they're like, "Calm your nerves, whatever." And
And
it's
they
real
send the
odd.
wine. Ah.
That's what I was thinking right away, but no, I wasn't. So then they say, "Well, go to your room and rest, and we'll go later." And she's like, "I need to use your phone. I need. I don't have a phone. It doesn't work. I need to go in your car. It's broken down." So she's starting to say something's not right here. She goes out and finds out this family's infected too, and the daughter's warning her
Hmm.
that her dad's just murdered his wife in the house, and they're next. So she's like, he's not himself. So they're trying to escape there. She goes off to this village where she meets up with a blind woman, a blind girl. She's on the cover. You can see her there. And
Oh.
she kind of pissed me off in the film. She's making kind of being annoying and stuff. But anyways, they get to this village, and she's trying to protect her. This girl wanders off. She's trying to find her husband.
Hmm.
She's she's just making it very difficult for this girl to protect her. And then she's blind. You know what I mean? She's off in the and all of a sudden you just see all the undead just run from this village. They start coming out, and um, she meets up. I'm not gonna give spoilers with that husband in a tragedy. So you have this girl fighting for her life. She's going around here battling the undead. Then you got like this she meets up with this mysterious woman in a mansion like and I guess she said that she's the housekeeper for the mayor or something. She's real weird. She's trying to just drink wine, we'll be all right, you know. And she's like, no, we got to get out of here. There's people trying to eat us, and well, they're not eating them. They go on like a violent murder spree. That's why I say it's like infectious. So she well, it turns out this girl's Bridget Leahy, who's now on the Severin. She's from Faceless,
Oh yeah.
and the new release is released from then. She's on this, I guess. She is French, so I guess she's in these French horror films. But she pretty much captures her and is gonna give her off to the dead. She's evil. She has evil intentions. So you got these two hunters coming in there, and it just leads to like a final showdown. But what I like about this is the atmosphere in it's great. The story is a little lackluster, but the the atmosphere catches it up for that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was done well. It's not going to be your Romero type of horror film. It's nowhere near that, but it's still worth a watch. Well, it is, you know what I mean. But it's a 3.5 out of 5. I'm going to give it, and there are some nude scenes in here with Bridget Leahy because she was a former porn star that turned actress. So it does show her body quite a bit. And I was reading that because there's one scene where she goes fully nude. It shows everything, and she's in the middle of the like nighttime in the middle there. And they said that it was real cold, that she couldn't even get her lines right because it was so freezing. Her jaw was even like
Oh wow.
On that scene because I guess it was so cold there. But yeah, this is your slow paced zombie atmospheric type of film. So that's what I stand by on these films. That's what I like more. Even though I'll watch I'll watch any zombie film, but pretty much. But this one was, yeah, I recommend this one if you haven't seen it. I thought it was done real solid. It's Grapes of Death. You ever come across that one? It's from Kino Lorber, the Redemption line. But yeah, I really like the gore in it too. There's some good. I'm gonna go back to head decapitations in this one as well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that. Grapes of Death from 1978.
Oh wow, I thought this was like 2000s.
No, this is late 70s.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll need to add
yeah,
that to the list to watch then.
yeah. The blind girl has those like beyond eyes, those contact lenses that are like
Oh
clear.
yeah, the
You see on
cloudy
the beyond.
ones.
Yeah, the cloudy ones. Yeah, it's real cool. I always like those. They sell me on a film. Fulci like for sure.
Oh, Forchi will light on them
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
No, he's the maestro of gore, man. You can't mess with that. But yeah, for being a French film, it's real Italian like in ways. I don't know if he was inspired by that or
Who the producer was, probably Italian.
yeah, because he definitely took a page out of their book.
All right. Well, I can go on to my second one, which I had no idea this was a zombie movie. I knew it was a serial killer movie, but I didn't know it was a zombie movie. And this is technically Vinegar Syndrome. It's Terror Vision, the partner label.
Oh, okay.
And I got it because the slipcover is fucking badass, and the more I look at it, the more I love it. And this is a 1987 movie from the director that I should have wrote down, but I forgot. Tim Ritter. Not to be confused with the good Ritter who was in the It movie from the 80s or
No,
1990. John Ritter. Yes.
John Ritter. Yeah.
Not to be confused with him. This is the shot on video one. This is
Okay.
the movie Killing Spree.
Oh,
And
nice.
forever, I had no idea what was on the cover. My brain could not comprehend it. But I figured it out. It's a face right here, another face here, and on the back is my favorite one, where we have a devilish looking jack-o'-lantern head, and we have a guy standing there with like a meat cleaver, and we have zombies coming out of the ground. Had no idea this was a zombie movie until like I was researching it during one of the slow parts. But This movie is so. It's hard to sell it really at all. This movie is very toxic. Is kind of the nicest way to say it, but I'll just read off the pitch that they have on the back and then talk about the highlights of the movie. Excuse me. Newlywed Tom Russo suspects his hot wife, Lisa, is having sexual encounters. I just discovered the corner right here is broken off. Oh well.
Oh man.
I was like feeling it, reading it, and I was like, there's something missing. Okay, sorry. Is having sexual encounters with their suburban neighbors and visitors. Tom retaliates by launching a methodical and inventive campaign to murder the lovers, utilizing such unexpected devices as a killer ceiling fan. Oh my god. A TV set, an ordinary screwdriver, a hammer, and a lawnmower. But Tom's victims don't lie buried peacefully in his backyard. They're coming back from the dead for revenge. And it was halfway through the movie that I read that on the box, and I was like, oh, this is a zombie movie. Because there was no zombies until the final 5 minutes of the movie. And our main character is such a sleazeball. He's super toxic to his wife, who is like, hey, like, you're getting a 40% pay cut on your salary. Like, I need to go back and get a job. And he's like, a woman's job is to stay at home and not do anything. And she's like, yeah, but we need the money. And she's like, no, you're a woman. And like all this stuff. And we also have a creepy best friend who was kind of officiated the wedding between the two. Because our main character was originally married to somebody else, but she cheated on him and they broke up. But this guy is like 60, late 60s maybe. And he's like coming around with all these like young bimbos. And it's like, hey, I'm a hot guy. Like, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. And our main character is suspect of him having sex with his wife. And they have dinner together, and he's like kind of investigating, like trying to see if there's a tell. And like whether there's a lowering of the guard in terms of like, hey, like we've been screwing or whatever. But there's a line that he says where he's like, yeah, I'm talking to a new girl now. She's like so hot. She's got, big tits and like all this stuff. And the best thing is, and I'm quoting here, she just turned 18 last week. And this guy is like 60 something. And everyone's like laughing about it. And the wife is like disturbed, obviously. And thankfully, the best friend, not the 60-year-old, but our main character, he finds it creepy kind of later on because he's like, not only is he fucking my wife, but he's fucking people that could be his granddaughter and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my god, what is this movie? Where's the zombies at? I was promised zombies. And there's a really awesome scene the first tell that he finds is that the wife has been reading magazines all day, and she has been collecting like softcore like novels and stuff like that, and like getting ideas because she's secretly writing a novel and stuff and trying to sell it like behind her husband's back. And it's talking about your very tropey porn kind of scenarios of the mechanic, the TV guy who fixes the TV, the electrician guy, like all this different stuff. And he's like, oh my god, an electrician was at our house last week. Oh my god, and this other guy was in my house. Oh my god, they're all fucking my wife. Oh god. And he's like freaking out. And he's kind of like, I need a break. So he pulls out a Fangoria magazine. He's like, oh, fuck yeah, Fangoria. And he's reading it. And on the back, it shows the poster for whoever this Tim Ritter's other movie, Truth or Dare, which is kind of his biggest movie. But they have the Fangoria magazine with his, you know, Truth or Dare poster on the back. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, I bet that's his own personal copy that he has of
It could
Fangoria
be. Yeah.
that he put there. But after that scene, he's like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. So he goes to bed and he has a dream where he finds his wife having sex with his best friend who's like triple his age. And he's like, hey, dude, your wife, she gives the best head ever. And so he's like, hey, honey, show him that you give the best head ever to me. And he's watching and it becomes like David Lynch levels, like weird. And has like a lot of Italian lighting, like a Suspiria, where it's like heavy reds and like greens and all that. And she is like, okay, I'm gonna give you awesome head. And it cuts, and her entire head is a pair of lips. And it's like, the guy's head is like a penis. And she's like giving him head with her entire head. And the top of this guy's head, of the elderly man's head, starts leaking white juice everywhere and it's pouring down. This movie's weird. This is when I got interested in the movie because I was like, what am I watching? And it was awesome. It was the best. And it's like from Society, but like 100th of the budget because it's just a pair of lips and it's paper mache. So they can't move too much or they'll like break apart. But it's pretty awesome. But the rest of the movie is her like writing about another encounter with like the mechanic or just anybody. And the next day, when the wife leaves to go shopping or whatever she does during the day, he finds the diary. And he's like, oh, she had sex with the mechanic. Hey, mechanic, come to my house. You didn't fix the issue. They come, he kills them. And then she writes another thing. He calls them, they come, he kills them. And it's just like that for like 40 minutes. It's like insane. But he chainsaws a guy and pulls his entrails out. And then hooks up the entrails to a car battery. And that's where I thought the zombies were going to come in, but it just electrocutes the body. Doesn't bring him back to life. I thought it would. And I was very disappointed. And then he buries somebody up to the neck in his backyard while he's screaming in a fucking suburban neighborhood. Nobody has heard it, I guess. And he runs him over with a lawnmower through his head. So that's where that one part of the pitch was. Nice. And then he goes up a ladder and he's like, hey, guy who's supposed to clean my gutters last week, you didn't clean my gutters. And the guy's like, okay, let me hold your ladder while you go out there and show me. And so he's like, okay, and he takes a screwdriver and he drops it right above the guy, and using gravity somehow, he impales the guy through his skull with the screwdriver. And it's like, what is going on? I don't think gravity is that heavy, like, that it would kill someone. It may bounce off, it may scratch you, but it won't, like, go straight down. Like, that
must have been really sharpened.
I guess he sharpened it, because that's the only explanation.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's a awesome kill, which is also kind of morbid. But an old lady neighbor keeps coming by the house and keeps almost catching our main character murdering everyone, which they should have already had witnessed it. Because these people are screaming in the backyard, and it's like a suburban neighborhood. And she comes by and she's like, hey, I know you've been doing this. Can you kill my husband? And I was like, yes, like we're going to get an awesome plot of our main character working together with this elderly lady to kill her husband because he became like disabled, and she just hates him. She just hates her husband now that he can't walk. He's like in a wheelchair now. And I was like, oh my god, we're going to get an awesome scene of them sneaking around, because they literally sneak around like this, like to do their kills. Like, it's ridiculous. It goes like between like hardcore, like gory, violent film to like cartoon, like villains. But he just kills her by punching her in the face, and her jaw collapses. And he like grabs her tongue and like rips it out, and like all this different stuff, and it's insane. There's so much blood in this movie. And it's like shot on video. It's like really, really like
Wow.
low budget, and it's from the 80s, so it's like really, really low budget. But trying to think anything else. The wife uh comes home and spots a bunch of bodies in her house because the husband has officially lost it. And they're like arguing with each other, and she's like, "Oh my god, those were my ideas for my novel about, porn life and this, that, and the other. And I just sold one of them for like $15,000. Like, I'm gonna help you thrive and all that." And he's like, "Oh my god, you're a woman, this, that, and the other." And then, like, suddenly all this fog comes in the last 5 minutes of the movie, and all of the people who got murdered come back to life and, like, "I'm gonna kill you." And so the husband and wife bar themselves in, and the zombies start arguing about who gets to kill them or get to kill him, because he killed them all, but like they're arguing about who should kill him first. And it's really funny because it's also annoying as fuck, but it was funny just as a cherry on top of this entire toxicity we've been watching, is that they're starting to bargain with the husband to let them kill him. And he's like, "No, I don't want to die," or whatever. And so instead of being like, "Okay, tough choice, dude, I'm going to kill you anyways," they're like, "Give us your wife. She started all of this." And I'm like, "What? Like, you killed all of them. The
Yeah.
wife had nothing to do with them murdering you. Like, what are you talking about?" And all the zombies like, "Yeah, bring out the wife. Yeah." And I'm like, what is this director trying to tell us? Like,
Yeah.
is his wife the issue? Like, the source of all his issues? Like, it was very disappointing when that happened, but there's some good gore effects, I guess. The ending is
Mhm.
very bizarre, and I have no idea why it ended that way. But because there's still a lot more that happens. But this movie was a romp, but I love the packaging a lot. And
Yeah, that's real cool.
I have the original art out, and it looks awesome.
Nice.
But there's a lot of new documentaries and uh, commentary tracks on here, which I did not watch because I was trying to watch my final movie that I have here. But it was fun, I guess. And the main actor's name, who plays the awful husband, his name is Asbestos Felt. I don't know if that's the real name, but
Doesn't sound real.
like, who names a kid Asbestos? Like,
It's like Emilio Estevez, but short. No, I
yeah.
don't know. That's an
But if
odd name.
anything, this movie is so weird in terms of just everything. And there's very hyper masculinity, like toxic masculinity going on in this movie. So it's interesting. I don't know if the slipcover's still available, but
I was just
it's
gonna
worth
ask you
it.
that. Was the slipcover still available?
It's an awesome one.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for that one. Need to check it out. It sounds crazy, like David Lynch on a low budget film or something.
Yeah, there were a lot of David Lynch moments throughout this movie,
Yeah,
which I really enjoyed.
I watched Blue Velvet the other night. I loved it.
Blue Velvet's awesome with Dennis Hopper and Kyle
Yeah,
MacLachlan, Laura Dern, Madeline, no, Isabella Rossellini, I think.
Dennis Hopper's great in that one.
Paps Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, he's always talking to his mom. Mama. He has like issues bad on some sexual scenes where he's calling for his mom.
What's his face? That really annoying guy. Roger Ebert kept like telling everyone that David Lynch was like abusing Rossellini on set when they were having that scene where she's like fully naked and they drop her off and they bring her into the house or
Oh,
whatever. Like, Roger Ebert like caused a huge fuss at like the Oscars or something with David Lynch saying like how he like objectifies all his women in all his movies, and every woman like ever involved in a David Lynch work was like, "No, like, what are you talking about?" Like, Roger Ebert. So that's another tick mark for why I don't like him. along with
Uh,
doxing the main actress from Friday the 13th. So.
uh, crazy, crazy. You
I
got any
want to
more
know
to
your third.
say on that film?
I
Okay.
have nothing else.
All right. So let's get to the one. This is the revisit number 3. So I'm going to go with some late 70s here. I'm going to go with Shockwaves
Oh, okay.
from Blue Underground. And this is one of the first Blu-rays I got to my collection. So I got it with a slipcover,
It's probably worth
which
$400.
it's kind of embossed there on the slipcover. I don't know if you could see that, but
Looks like George Romero.
yeah, this is a Nazi zombie movie, and it's directed by Ken Wiederham. I don't know if I said his name right, but he directed Dark Tower, which is very famous from Vinegar
Oh,
Syndrome.
oh, I love that one.
Oh, you love it? Okay, because
Have
I
you
do too.
seen it?
Everyone shits on that movie,
Oh,
bro.
oh wow. Okay, good.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're like one of the first persons to say that.
I
Honestly,
love Doc Tower.
so
I did a
I,
review on
I
it.
I like it too. So and he also directed my favorite sequel, which I get a lot of shit for, Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I always
It's my
skip that
favorite.
one, go to 3.
Yeah, everyone tells me the first one. I'm like, nah, I like the second one.
Third one's awesome too.
I like them all, but it's just I grew up watching the second one a lot more. So, well, anyways, this film is very low budget. It was let's see, it was filmed on a $200,000 budget, and it
Hmm.
was filmed with a 16 millimeter camera. I can't talk here, but this stars Peter Cushing in his later days, John Carradine in his later days,
Oh my god.
and we got Brooke Adams as well. Has a really
Ooh.
good cast. Um, but anyways, this starts off with pretty much these tourists. They're on a boat trip, exploring the ocean, shall I say? And something goes wrong. They're starting to realize stuff going wrong with the boat. Um, it's rumors going out there, stories that the area they're at is cursed. None of them believe it. And you got John Carradine playing the captain. He's Captain Ben, and he doesn't believe it either. But there's a man like a cook on the ship that believes everything, and he's like warning him. He's like the crazy Ralph from Friday the 13th of this movie. He's like, "You're doomed." No, he doesn't say that,
You're
but
doomed.
yeah. Anyways, stuff like eerie stuff starts to happen. You got them in the middle of the night, and a ship just appears. They crash into it, not even seeing it. And John Carradine's like, "It's the ghost ship," the one they're talking about or whatever.
He's on the case. He knows instantly.
Yeah, so they're like all freaking out, and then by the morning, they're getting ready to get closer to this island where they're going to, because they see it ahead, and pretty much the captain, played by Carradine, disappeared. They can't find him, so they start going on a boat towards this island because their boat's leaking, and they're pretty much going to go underwater. So they have to go on an emergency boat to this island. When they go there, there's John Carradine drowned to death under their boat. He appears under there, so they're freaking out. They get to this island and they pretty much run into a crazy madman played by Peter Cushing, and he's kind of a former Nazi SS commander or something. He's an SS commander. He's like bizarre, real odd, and he's telling them to leave the island, not to stay there. They're like, we can't. We're trapped. We're not going anywhere. And he's like, don't stay around here. Go somewhere else. Nope. They end up staying there. But as this is going on, you see like the ocean start to bubble, and all of a sudden you see these Nazi type zombies coming out of the water. They're just walking out of the water,
Ooh.
and I guess they were there since the World Wars or something like that. They built super soldiers, and I guess
They've been walking rocks across the ocean this
yeah,
whole time.
yeah, they've been under there waiting to come up. I don't know, but they're walking out of there, and
They had a signal ready. Come on, guys, you have to come up dramatically when I wave my hand.
yeah,
Gotta be really cool, guys.
So, anyways, they come out slowly walking, and they're walking towards there, and pretty much these ones are trapped inside this kind of old, what is it, like hotel? It's an abandoned hotel or something, and they're trapped in there, and they're trying to fight their way out. They're getting picked off one by one, but these zombies are they're not your average zombies. They don't kill you by biting, or they kill you by drowning you, like the way they were. So
Sure.
they'll put you
Is
underwater and pretty much drown you.
that why it's
But
called shockwaves?
shock waves, I guess, yeah. But they
Huh.
look real cool. Like you can see there, they're little mutated and they got goggles on. And the director is saying that he didn't wasn't gonna put goggles on them, but he got from a glaucoma surgery. And he had those goggles on, so he got the idea to put goggles on him from that. So
He actually got like 6 of them for free by just taking
yeah,
them from the office, and he was like, "Oh, it
got
look
like
cool."
got like a box and showing them off. Like I should put them on. But yeah, the this is a good film. It's very atmospheric. It's slow, but then it picks up. It has some real creepy moments, and I really like Peter Cushing's character. He's weird and bizarre, and he was older in this. You could tell he was already. They were saying that he was smoking a lot. He couldn't get his catch his breath during this. The director's like, all them British guys how they smoke. Well, he was one of them. So, but yeah, it's real good, atmospheric. I liked it, the tone of the film. You don't get the guts and gore in this one. It's built more on the atmosphere and like the creepiness of it. But yeah, this original negative of this film disappeared 20 years ago. They couldn't find a copy of it
Oh
till
wow.
the director came out with a copy from his personal collection. So they restored it to its glory, I guess, and whatever they could do. But
So 4K is on the way, is what you're saying.
that's pretty much what I'm saying because I could see this one a lenticular coming from Blue Underground. But
I'll get it then.
yeah. Let's see what else I got on here. B movie director Fred Olin Ray. This was his first film he worked on, and he developed a relationship with John Carradine through this and Peter Cushing. This film was so low budget that Cushing and Carradine were only on set for 3 days, and I guess Cushing got paid $25,000 because he was the bigger name, and Carradine only got $5,000. So I guess it it was not a good payday. I could imagine what the other actors and them got paid, but
And cheese sandwiches
cheese sandwiches.
or banana
There's no
sandwiches.
there's no Happy Meals back then, so I don't think they got a Happy Meal. But uh, but yeah, this one's always been a favorite of mine. It's a cult classic. I always have a good time with this one. It's really slow though. You gotta like build into the tension on this one, but once the ending happens, it gets going. But yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. It's my favorite out of the bunch, and I do recommend it if you can last through the slow burning parts because it does get slow. But yeah, that's Shockwaves from 1977.
Ooh, you have a lot of 70s movies. I'm all 80s on this one.
Yeah,
I think it's 84, 85, and 87.
yeah, I did go 70s. That's strange. I usually go 80s. I saw this one
Okay.
sitting on the shelf, and I was like, I want to watch this again. I'm gonna pick that one. It's been so many years I had seen it.
I
But,
couldn't think of any like zombie movies that I had already seen that I wanted to rewatch. Like just none of them popped out at me.
oh, and this film, the hotel they're in was filmed in Florida at an abandoned hotel. And this
Spooky.
guy right here, this zombie here, was played by a reporter who was just
Ooh.
there on set, and they auditioned him, and he got the role. And there's even a magazine article where he's all, "I am the zombie." He wrote a whole article on it where he played the zombie in that.
That's fun.
I forgot to mention that, but that's pretty much all I got on Shockwaves. I recommend that one for sure.
Well, it's added to the list, so
And like you said, it's probably coming to 4K soon. I could see this one getting the lenticular 4K from Blue Underground.
yeah. Alright, well, I guess I can do my final one. I'm dead
It's the
last.
final countdown.
which is 80s right there. But this is from 1989, and I don't know what country this is. Oh, it's from Thailand. Okay, shocked about that. But yeah, this movie was totally bonkers, but the pacing was so weird. It's from 1989, directed by Somtao Sucharitkul. I apologies to the director that I just butchered your name, but this is the movie that has been on my shopping list or whatever forever on Vinegar Syndrome, and I was thankful enough to, or blessed enough to get the slipcover. This is, I gotta cover up some of it. The Laughing Dead.
Oh,
I had
nice.
no idea this was a zombie movie. I thought it was just a demon movie because there's demons everywhere. I have to cover up the breast, but I thought there were demons like right here and here. I didn't even look at the
Yeah.
bottom, but I thought it was just like demons the entire movie. But and we have an awesome back. Uh, this movie is absolutely bonkers, and it is a very tropey movie. But I'll get into that once I read kind of the pitch that Vinegar Syndrome wrote. But here's the original art, The Laughing Dead.
Mm-hmm.
The pictures is very spoilery, are very spoilery, so I won't show them. But here's what it says. A busload of travelers and their guide on the hunt for Aztec ruins decide to stop in an all but forgotten to time Mexican village on the eve of the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. It's not written there, but might as well give the real name. The tour leader, a disgraced priest, oh my gosh, is enlisted by a local doctor to perform what he believes to be an exorcism. But in actuality, the doctor is using him to begin a diabolical ritual intended to bring about hell on earth. I didn't get any of that from the movie.
Shit.
This movie is so weird in terms of the pacing and the story. This is like a Lucio Fulci movie where things just happen. And it definitely starts off very tropey, where it's like, hey, let's go on a wacky tour. It makes me think of, I think it's Hostel, where you have like the Florida swamps and you have like a crazed killer like on the loose, and they're like, oh boy, we're gonna go on a haunted tour. And there's like the drunk, there's the old couple, there's, you know, the young teenager who's just on his Game Boy the whole time, talking how boring it is. Like, all your caricature characters that are like so tropey. But in this movie, we have a rich new age couple. We have a single mom and a kid, and we have a preacher, and a couple of others outside of them, but they don't matter. The son character, which ends up being the son of the disgraced priest, he is awesome in this movie. He is constantly cussing everybody out, telling them to go fuck themselves and shut up, guy in a skirt. You're a priest. I don't believe in fucking God, and like all this different stuff. And he's awesome. He's exactly what I needed in this very serious but also very comical movie. We get a really nasty nightmare scene about halfway through the movie, because the single mom is like, oh my god, like, you made me go through with the pregnancy, like, you're awful, like, I don't want to be with you anymore, priest. You left me with the son who has like severe ADHD, and I don't believe in it because I purposely left his Ritalin and ADHD medicine at home, thinking that he needed a full body cleanse, like all this different stuff. And the son is like purposely like fucking with her the entire movie. But during this nightmare sequence, she has a dream where she gives birth to him, like full-sized him in present day, but he like claws his way out of her stomach. And it's like, mommy, don't you love me? And like wrapping her with her own intestines. And like, it's so disgusting. Like, it looked really real. It was like from Extra, from that birth scene. That birth
Oh
scene in
wow.
Extra is disgusting. A
Yeah,
lot more
that's
disgusting than this one.
I've seen that, man. It's crazy.
It's ugh. Um, but the guy, the husband of the new age couple who are constantly talking about crystals and like vibrant energies and all this stuff. He's actually played by the actor Larry Coven, who I thought I had it near me. He only has like 5 credits ever. He's only been in like 5 movies, and 2 of them is Laughing Dead, and the other one is Hack a Lantern. He plays
Oh, so
the guy who gets his head like spiked through in the grave by a like I don't know a hay pitchfork. He's the guy whose head gets like clawed through. It's pretty
okay.
awesome. But the ending is absolutely insane in this movie. It makes no sense whatsoever. But it involves Mayan zombies and all of the. So, basketball is a very major element of this movie for some reason. The priest, the opening scene is the priest playing basketball with the church kids. And then his real son loves basketball, but he has no one to play with. And that's how they kind of bond with each other is through basketball. And the final scene of the movie before the actual final scene is that the Mayan zombies are on one team and all of our main characters are on the other, and they have to play basketball with a human head, and whoever
Oh,
wins disrupts the demon summoning, like Satan summoning ritual. And if the zombies win, they get to take over the sun's body and allow the Mayan death god to inhabit his body. And it is awesome. I love the concept of this movie. The pacing is all over the place. I was distracted like half of the movie because I was like, what is going on? People are just wandering around this hotel for no reason at all. And it was like awful. But the final like few minutes of the movie is when all of these awesome creatures show up right here. You can kind of see them, but
yeah.
they're basically giant sloth creatures handled by
Nice.
puppets, and they look really fucking realistic. It's kind of shocking. I think there was a picture. Yeah, there's a picture for one of them right
Oh,
here.
yeah. Look.
And
That
you can
looks
see
cool.
the son has just been birthed on this picture and is choking his mom, but with her own entrails. But this movie was so awesome. It's just I wish the pacing was better. But I gave it
Yeah.
a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, so I was like, okay, whatever. That's a lot of people gave it
Nice.
3s, so it's like whatever. I'm doing my part, as Starship Troopers would say. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. I wish there was a bit more, but considering I had no idea this was even a zombie movie, it's turned out way better than I thought.
Nice.
And there's really nothing Thai in this movie at all, except for the director. I wish there was
Mm.
like this was set in Thailand and had to do with like Thai gods instead of Aztec.
Yeah.
So that was the only disappointment, but it was wonderful.
Sounds sounds awesome, man. I have it on the shelf
Oh, you haven't
to
seen it?
watch.
Oh wow, I thought you'd
Yeah,
seen it.
I don't think I've seen it.
Wait,
I'm
so
not
you
sure.
have seen Extra?
Yeah, I seen Extra
Oh my god,
and the Laughing Dead. I'm not sure. I have it on the shelf, but it's not ringing a. I might have seen it, but I just don't remember it.
it is awesome. I
I want to
enjoyed
see it
it.
again. You got me to want to watch it again. So
There's no
if
zombies
I
really. They
haven't,
appear every few minutes, but they don't do anything.
nice. That was my complaint with Grapes of the Death. Grapes of Death is the
Mm-hmm.
zombies don't do nothing. They're just walking around. You get some strangled. They're strangling people, but you really don't get. There's one kill where he gets an axe, one of them, and cuts a head off. I love that,
Ooh.
but other than that, you didn't. That was my complaint on the film. I was like, I wish there's a little more, at least some. If they're not gonna eat flesh, at least some creative kills.
Yeah, I don't think flesh at all were ingested in any of my movies, which is a big shame.
Mine either. Let's just say that mine either.
That's like the
A lot
big
of
thing in every zombie movie. So
I was watching Dawn of the Dead the other night, man. When they rip the necks and all that. I love that. You gotta have that in a zombie film.
oh yeah. Well, I think that's it. The next theme that I have already chosen ahead of time is because of the season. It is the Criterion sale month, and I picked up a few more titles, so I'm very motivated to do this. But obviously,
Nice.
it is going to be Criterion Collection only movies. Has to have been released by them, so
Okay.
if you have like a 4K from like Studio Canal or Kino Lorber, those are the two main companies that keep stealing the 4K rights from Criterion. If you have those, then they fit. Because why
Okay.
not?
Nice.
I bought 6 new releases today, so I'm
So
hyped.
so it's gonna be Criterion for the next.
Yep.
All right. I got a bunch I gotta see still from the last sale, so that'll work out. I haven't. I have not dug into that pile like I should.
I think I just hit 50 Criterions recently.
Wow.
I got a few for like really cheap lately, so I've been on a roll. But
Let's see. I'm counting mine right now. I'm about. I'm about close to 30.
yeah, I
It's
can't
growing.
count mine. There's too many, and it's like on the far wall over there.
No, like 28, and then I got. Let's see. 2 box sets. I don't know if that'll count, but
I have one of my box sets right there, the Wong Kar Wai box set.
oh,
It's
okay.
really good, very artsy
Right,
though,
right,
but
right
it
there in the
uses a
corner.
lot of pop culture songs. That helps. But
Nice.
yeah, so that'll be it for tonight. This was a lot of fun as always. I had no idea these movies were gonna be watched until I watched them. At least, all 3 of them. I had no plans to watch them yet, so I didn't know they were zombie movies. I just happened to see the word zombie on all 3 of them. I was like, yeah, I should watch them. Why not?
Yeah. There's only one I questioned. It was Hellgate, but it ended up being a zombie film. It's said throughout it, so I'm gonna count it there towards that.
All right. Well,
But
thank you again for joining. It's always a lot of fun.
yeah, thanks for having me, Christian. It's always a blast. I look forward to our next segment, man. Sounds interesting and